You know what? Sometimes when family does all that, I just think of the wise words of find the shard. I'm not ready to go alone.
So are you scared?
All right, alone then.
That sounds like you're ready to roll some dice. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
And begin. All the same. Big change, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Prophecy! Yeah, so we're on to a brand new month. Is this the ultimate month then? If last month was penultimate, what is the term for this month?
I don't know. Let's see. What do you say after penultimate? Yeah, I was like, how do I write this? What after penultimate? I don't know how to spell penultimate. I just know the word. There's no E.
Hey everyone, you're joining in Itisdpayne's surprise spelling bee.
I spelled it so bad that the AI couldn't even help me. Oh yeah, it would be ultimate.
Okay.
Which makes sense, yeah. So many people confuse penultimate with ultimate, although the former word is adding an intensifying prefix to the existing word. Let's see. I'm reading the Merriam-Webster's thing. So I guess, yeah, the ultimate, which I guess that makes sense, because it's like, how many people do we hear say it's like the ultimate, my final form? This isn't even my final form.
We both are in very chatty moods. But yeah, so as the joke I was trying to make was, we are on our final director for our series that, like, I still remember planning, so it feels weird that we're in the final month of it, of watching 12 different directors throughout the month of 2025. And this month is Itisdpayne's picks, because I've actually never seen one of these two directors' movies. Oh, it's also a special combo month. We'll say it's the same guy because they have the same last name.
Yes, it's Jim and Brian Henson. It's because Jim Henson, he directed two, and then we needed to get some Muppets in here as well. So a lot of the big Muppet movies are pretty much, I just chose my favorite and the more iconic and thematic movies, I feel like. However, this is only going to work as a visual thing. But let's see. If I hold this up here.
I know you did message me about this and I forgot to reply.
It's all good. For audio listeners, I have a physical copy of Over the Garden Wall because I'm tired of never finding it. And then I looked on the accursed site of capitalism.
I hate capitalism. It was funny. So for anybody listening to this, I don't think I mentioned to you, but through a bunch of circumstances, I've recently gone to a new therapist. I don't have bad blood with my previous therapist or anything like that, but I did feel like I needed to try a new one. I said I was doing the whole explaining who I am, because for anyone that hasn't been through the therapy process, it's the first couple of sessions are very much like, explain yourself to me. What are the vibes? How is this gonna flow? Like
icebreaker games.
Except they go, all right, you have the entire floor. Say anything on your mind right now, and then naturally in that environment, it just turns into I don't even know what I'm talking about. Everything connects to everything else, and I'm just yapping. But I mentioned I got a new job, and then I think I said as an aside, by the way, I hate capitalism, and they're like, and you worked at that other place? I was like, look. I was fresh out of college.
I needed the money.
I needed the money. But yeah, it's just funny that you're like, I went to the capitalism place, and I'm like, we were just talking about how I don't like capitalism.
That's why I said it.
And speaking of that, on the flip side, you and I really appreciate creative people, so that's why we watched Henson. like all the
Yes.
directors we watched are all pretty creative, but I feel like the labor of love that the Henson family must have for puppeteering
Yes.
is like, I can't even imagine myself sitting down long enough to be that creative.
Pretty much like, so there's a book I read, and I'm blanking on the name of it, but it is the history of Sesame Street, and it's insane reading through that. Like, honestly, like if you like if you have or haven't watched Sesame Street, I think it's worth reading. I'll look it up real quick, but I know where I can find where it is. And I don't know, depending on the categories, I might be talking about this in a couple weeks, so I'm not going to go full into it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like hearing about like the history of there we go. I'm really bad at like multitasking, so I was like, let me find this. It's called Street Gang: The Complete History of Sesame Street.
Okay.
It is on Hoopla. At least it was in my Hoopla, and as an audiobook, read by the guy who's the voice of Big Bird. But yeah, it was talking about the beginning of that and just how much like the creators of Sesame Street, because when I think Sesame Street, for the longest time I think Jim Henson, and he was a lot of the creative force behind it,
Mm-hmm.
which we're gonna see a lot of that in this month. But there's just so many unsung heroes behind Sesame Street that really fought and pushed to have public television, public education on there, and it gave me a whole new like appreciation for it. And I think it's not a hard read, but it's like, I don't know, I would put it on your list, especially after watching some of his Muppet movies and stuff, because it goes into a little bit of history of this. Which, what I was going to mention is that the Dark Crystal that we're watching today is like kind of what we were talking about before we were recording. Was Jim Henson was feeling so suffocated by Sesame Street because he was promised that he can go do his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, hey, do Sesame Street and you can do your own thing. And like, there was just so much involved with Sesame Street because it was so far ahead of its time.
It became like very like,
and like innovative. Yeah,
it became demanding in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, Jim, like we made that promise, go do that. And Dark Crystal is the first movie, if I remember correctly, that it came out from his like being like kind of the reins set free, which we're gonna get into it. This movie is visually amazing.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, like, I had some of the like pacing and structural things about this movie.
Yeah.
It was giving first movie, so like I was trying to give it a lot of leniency. But yeah, again, we can get into that, especially once we get into spoiler town. I think it's just an interesting thing of us, like, we have watched a pretty wide range of movies in all of this, and it's kind of fun to end on something like the holidays for us are like very like stressful times because I don't know, family doesn't talk to us, then all of a sudden they're like, hey, it's important that we spend this time together. And I'm like, where did you come from? So it's nice to have something where I can kind of just sit and be like, movie.
You know what? Sometimes when family does all that, I just think of the wise words of, I'll find the shard. I'm not ready to go alone.
So are you saying?
All right. Alone then.
That sounds like you're ready to roll some dice and start talking about this movie.
While
we're rolling our dice, I will mention, just so we don't forget. So as you guys have heard now, December is the Henson month. This week is Dark Crystal. Next week is Labyrinth.
Woo! That's like one of my favorite movies. Okay.
Yeah, Strider says he remembers watching Labyrinth and he really liked Labyrinth. He watched Dark Crystal with me and he hadn't seen it before. But I was sitting there, I was like, I thought David Bowie was in all of the Henson like movies, and he's like, I don't know how David Bowie would fit into this. I was like, yeah, that's a good question. So it's only in Labyrinth that David Bowie is in.
Yes.
It. Okay.
He's only in Labyrinth to my knowledge. Yeah, it's I am going to warn people. I know Hop has done streaming things with me where it's like almost like musical theater, because it's just like music comes to brain and it just like vomits out. It's going to be really hard next week because it's like, I think
Labyrinth has a lot of singing in it?
Yes, okay. It is a musical. It's
because I know the Muppets once. I figured those would also have a lot of singing.
But like, yeah, so the the last three movies are technically musicals, but it's like the two. Sorry, the upstairs neighbor was making noises. Yeah, so these two, the last two, they're definitely musicals. They have a lot of like the songs in there that it fits, but what they are based off of, like it all fits in there. And it is part of the storytelling. This one, and not that Labyrinth isn't, but it's definitely like kind of like how Disney told Phil Collins, hey, make the soundtrack to Tarzan and have fun. It really feels like they're like, hey, Bowie, you do your thing. And it's just like
the creative freedom.
Yeah, and so, and I don't know that for sure. We'll find that out next week. But
it at least seems like they had fun making it.
Yeah. And there's, I don't know, it is, I don't know. I think people just hearing like, oh, Labyrinth is one of D-Payne's favorite movies, that makes that checks a lot of boxes. So, but yes, I do like Labyrinth a lot. But we're not talking about Labyrinth. We are talking about Dark Crystal. And I'm going to roll dice.
So for anyone wondering, it's a 12-sided dice because this was our 12th director that we have watched this year. Whoever rolls higher will give a short 1 to 2 sentence summary of the movie. We'll ask each other some questions without spoilers, just to like get the discussion going, and then we'll get to Spoiler Town and warn you once we get there. Like we said, Labyrinth will be next week. If you need to like leave because you're worried about spoilers or want to be able to enjoy this for what it is without our opinions, totally understandable. And the only other thing I'll mention is it is getting to the end of the month. We'll end the year with a little silly award show of little superlatives that we made up about movies. We'll see how many we fit in. Most of them are silly and unserious because that's who we are. Then next year we have our bookish episode, if you like that. And then we'll be kicking off a series where we'll be spinning a wheel and each watching our own movies to fit that prompt to discuss them. And
I can't spin that far.
And then if you have ideas for prompts that you think would be fun for us to try and find movies for, feel free to let us know either in like comments or reviews or anything like that. Or I guess, yeah, Spotify also has like question and answer things that you can do too. Mm-hmm.
What did you roll?
I rolled really high.
Oh, a 13? Because that's what I rolled.
Wait a second.
No, I rolled a 7.
I rolled an 11. That place where people get Slurpees.
Oh. Is that meme? 7-11? 6-7? Or whatever it is? I don't understand it. I'm old.
I tried to understand it, and as far as I can tell, it's just a kid talking about someone's height, but he said it in a way that was comical. Because he was at a basketball game. So.
That kids are known to do.
But in any case, before we get confused by internet memes,
we should put a little warning up here. We might have started really fast, but we are in a very chatty mood today, so hopefully this makes sense by the end of it.
All right, so I rolled an 11. So I rolled higher. So a quick summary of Dark Crystal. What if you were the center of a prophecy and everything got in your way?
That's like most stories.
I mean, but it's kind of like the way that I was watching this, it reminded me of kind of like a YA fantasy. where it's very
Oh,
much
yeah.
like you are important, and then like the journey to what it is.
I also realized it is impossible for me to tie now if I win the roll-offs.
Yeah, the dice have decided I need to yap
You
more.
you are the winner.
But yes, so I think that's all I'll do, unless you think there's something else I should add.
Nah, we'll chat
It's a
about it.
pretty straightforward like theme
Oh yeah.
overall. But yeah, do you have questions for me?
Yes. I know where they are in these multiple tabs I have. Okay. If this was the only movie you watched by this director, which survey says it is,
Yes.
would you watch the rest of their catalog if you weren't forced to watch it the rest of the month?
I think honestly, I would put it at a maybe, only because, like I was saying to Starter while I was watching it, if I watched this 20 years ago, it might be a big part of my personality. But unfortunately, I was sitting there laughing at some of the like more awkward things that were happening, like you said earlier with the quote, where it's like as an adult, I was like, "How did we get there?" But as a kid, I would have been like, "Adventure, new worlds."
Avengers out there.
So I think it's a maybe. And I think you have watched all of their catalogs, so same to you.
Same,
Opposite.
but different. I think for this one, I would definitely put it in the same as you. It would be a maybe, because like I watched this later.
You were
Actually, a
also
lot.
older? Okay.
Yeah, so like I watched this probably when I was 24, 25. Growing up, I watched a lot more of the Muppet movies, which is probably why I love puppets in movies and stuff a lot more than one should. But it's in doing that, yeah. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, there's like I enjoy it for what it is, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe. Like, it depends what it is. So, yeah. So, how much did you root for the characters?
I gotta say, I'm a little bit of a hater. So, when I said this is like a YA fantasy, I mean it in terms of like, I sometimes struggle reading younger audienced fantasy books because it feels like things happen to the main character instead of the main character being active. So, I did not root for the main character. The poor little guy that he
What?
was. Whoa.
He really was alone.
Well, I gotta go then. I mean, I wanted to root for Kira, but she was dealing with an anchor.
Yeah.
Sorry, the one scene where she's like, "Hey, that's a bad idea." He's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yes, this is a terrible idea." And he's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Oh, this poor girl. She has no
Yeah.
options." So I guess I root for her in that way.
You know what's really funny? I'm thinking about it because so for people who don't know, I for the past 3 months it feels like I've been trying to finish Shogun, and I'm like in the final chunk, and there's a scene that happens in Shogun that I'm like, holy crap buckets! This is literally what happened in Dark Crystal.
Oh, that's funny. And Shogun, when was that released?
I don't know. I'll look it up, but it was like it was. I'm like I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man, and like it's definitely a lot more intense because it's for
Adult
adults.
audiences, yeah.
But I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, like
This
didn't
sounds
see
familiar.
that happening.
Yeah.
But then I was like, uh, but then I was like, like okie dokies, and then let's see, when did it come out? It came out in 1975. And this movie came out in
82.
82. So, yeah, it was funny because what really clicked when I was reading through the quotes, there's a line that it's just like Kira is saying to Jen, and a certain character, a certain love interest is saying it to a different character.
In
And it's
Shogun,
just
yeah.
in Shogun. I don't want to ruin it because it literally is like the last like the last it's funny, it's like the last like third of the book, which is still in time 7 hours. So I'm like
Too much book.
Hopefully I can finish it this week. I don't know how much more it's gonna go. I'm just like, but yeah. I know you're watching a TV show, so I don't want to like.
I haven't watched it in a long time, but thank you for watching out for spoilers.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Jump scare for listeners. We're still not in spoiler town. But any other? So yeah. As far as rooting for other characters, I kind of rooted for Agra more than I expected, because she was just kind of like figuring it out. Her puppeteering was very fun. I felt really bad for like some of the side creatures, because a lot of the creatures are like, "Oh, you need me," and then died, and I was like, "Oh, poor guys!" Like they didn't know what they signed up for. But overall, I'd say I didn't necessarily root.
The Landstriders.
Yeah, I didn't like root for a lot of like the main characters. I was kind of just sitting back going, "Now, how are they gonna get out of this?"
There is one character I rooted for. Can you guess what it is? Or who it is?
Is it the outcast? Skeepsis?
Oh, the
whimpering one?
The Chancellor that gets
ousted.
No, it's not him.
Fizzlebub?
Fizzgig? The little fuzzball that's like just a Pomeranian? Yes.
He has a lot of teeth.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this reminds me of a Pomeranian, especially when it's like, Kira's like, okay, Fizzgig, you have to stay here.
I thought he was cute when he rolled. Like, when they literally just had some, like, thing roll across the screen. But Strider and I agreed that some of the creatures at the end are more of our speed of, like, cuteness. Like, one of the things that helped them kind of look like a mole with a longer snout. So we were watching those scenes at the end, we were like, is that one cuter? No, wait, that one's cuter. And then Fizzgig is just screaming, and we're like, I didn't think he was that cute. Strider thought he was pretty cute. I thought he was a lot. He barked over a lot of dialogue.
That's why I liked him. I just liked him screaming in the background. It's just like,
They're like, what are you doing here?
Let's see. I clicked away. There we go. I have a feeling we already answered this, but what grade would you give the plot?
I think, for me personally, I would probably give it like a C. It's like fine. It's straightforward.
It's an average movie. Like it's an average plot. It's not bad, but it's not good.
The plot is not the strength of this movie.
Yeah. It's the visuals.
Yeah. Are you also at a C?
Oh yeah, I agree. That's kind of where I put it. Like this, I like this movie for the visuals and everything. I'm pretty sure when we go into, oh my goodness, these trains are so stinking loud. So when we get into spoiler town, I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot more about visuals and set pieces and not so much the plot. Yeah. How likely would you recommend this movie to others?
I might recommend it to someone who I know, like, is a creative kid. Like I said, like, I think if I was in my, like, young adult years, like the prime young adult years, like between 10 and 14, I think this movie would be, like, important to me. Because, like, I remember, I think that's about the time I had first watched Nightmare Before Christmas, and that became, like, a big part of my personality. And then, like, as an adult watching it again, I'm just like, no, it was just visually, like, a cool aesthetic throughout. And, like... Strider and I both complimented this. Like, when it comes to Dark Crystal, really cool world building. Right. So it was, like, really easy to imagine yourself in that fantasy world. And Strider also mentioned that for him, it feels like he wouldn't be surprised if it was a book adaptation and they kept too many scenes in it because, like, you know, it has so much, like, visual stuff happening that it's really cool. But I did look up. It's just, like, Jim Henson's, like, original content.
Yeah, pretty much. And which we'll save it for spoiler town. But yeah, it's I would agree, like, with that, or definitely younger kids, because it's just.
I just wouldn't go too much younger, because I think.
Oh no, 7 years old, 3. There you go.
Because, yeah, I think if I was, like, 6 and watched this, I would have nightmares. Because some of the puppets are, like, actually, like...
Yeah.
Like when they strip the Chancellor, and I'm like, oh, he's scraggly, he's bumpy, he's weird.
That that old one literally
Crumpled. Yeah.
disintegrated.
Spoilers. Not really, but
That's in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah, so sorry, I got distracted trying to find the timer on my phone.
that, you know what that means, listeners? We're getting prepared to
Spoiler
go to
Town.
Spoiler Town.
I don't think there's anything that we scrolled too far. No, it's real fun. What we can say is, hey, if you guys are at a certain in Philadelphia on the weekend on the 22nd for a certain convention, and you're like, wow, that looks like the Pointless Discourse people, you would be right.
It was us.
Why didn't you say hi? Probably for the best, because we never actually had that happen. So, so actually, I did have that happen when I went to a Halloween party because the hosts were they were on the podcast, John and Elizabeth for The Lobster, the romantic comedy. I like saying that, but yeah, they were telling other people, and it was just like, oh wait, you're Dpayne, like from the internet. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. So
It's okay.
yeah.
I once went somewhere when I was still actively like streaming and like doing a lot of other side content back, the hustle. And I went somewhere and they went, "You look really familiar at a house party." I was like, "No, I don't. I hope I don't. There's no reason for me to look familiar." And they're like, "Did you go to this college?" I was like, "Oh, I did. Oh, yes, I did go to that college." Like,
Yeah, it reminds that whole interaction reminds me, like, I have no clue who this person is. It was just me scrolling through TikTok, and it's just this girl's like, if you found my secret account, no, you didn't. Just ignore it. You didn't. I'm like, I don't even know who your real account is. Like, who are you? And why do you keep showing up?
because you watched the warning.
I don't even think I finished the warning. I'm like, why are you here? So yeah.
Is the timer ready?
It was, and then we chit-chatted a little bit longer. My phone went to sleep. So, but
Your
it is
phone
back
has a
up.
very important job. Does it not
Yeah.
understand?
It wants to go to bed.
Oh.
Not me. After this, it's called Wrighton Town. Anyway, what's that? Spoiler Town's calling? Well, we should answer in 3, 2, 1. Toot toot.
Turn back now if you don't want any spoilers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, where do we start?
So, how about this? What scene did you like the most? Because I feel like this movie is good to talk scene by scene, because it does feel like each scene was written on its own. So
Yeah, that's not wrong. Some of the continuity was kind of like a little loose, fast and loose, I guess I would say.
like, I guess while you think about that, it's like this movie is visually amazing, especially for the time. Like we said, 82, where everything is puppets. Which at that point, like, I don't really think. Like, I think the most puppeteering that we had is Rankin Bass, which that in itself is amazing. But it's just like,
That's a more like a kind of like Night Before Christmas, where you have the figures and you're just
and
so
like stop motion.
Yeah.
Well, this one is the puppetry and like there's the masters of their craft.
Yeah, you have to build things not only like human size, but also like in your image of being able to move while having people operate it. Like, it got to a point where I was watching this and I was like, it's kind of fun how the crab people look like they have extra legs, but it's just legs dragging on the ground. Like, turns more into like the mastery of it versus the like.
Yeah, they reminded me of something. I like when I saw that and I was like, oh my goodness, they're just this, and I can't remember. Like, just looking at those crab creatures, it was like I looked at them and I'm like, oh my goodness, this, like, whoever just pulled the design for whatever it was, and like and now I can't remember it. This is why I used to keep notes. So
I know when we first started watching movies together, we both had notes, and then once we realized we were just more vibes.
yeah, we vibing. But yeah, there's so many times where I'm just sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, how are they puppeting it? It's like some of them are big enough where people can be in it, but then there's other ones where it's just like, okay, like how, like a fun thing is like, how did Fizz gig? Like, I could take a guess, but like he's bouncing around, rolling around. Like, did they just have like a puffball that's his color and just chuck it across the screen?
Yeah, if I could hazard a guess, my guess is that, like when he's playing it on the ground, hand puppet, right? Because the way his mouth moves. And then having him on a string to go across screen. Because, like, a lot of the ways a lot of the creatures moved, like, there's the one scene where they were in the bar and people were dancing. I was like, okay, that's, like, puppet strings. Like, and that's fine, you know? But it helps, like, build up the illusion that maybe they do all have legs that are walking around. You just so happen can't see them because of the way it's shot. But...
Well, there's a famous scene. It was one of the movies that was potentially up for what we were going to watch, but it wasn't... we didn't have it. Like, we couldn't find it, and I think now it's there. I'm trying to find the name of it as I scroll down. Bada bada bing. Where's your... filmography? There we go. I think it was a TV movie, and of course I can't find it as I'm trying to.
Which
it was
director?
Like, it was Jim Henson. It was like the Jug Hand band. I think it was like Mr. Beaver and the Jug Hand Band or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not fine. Oh, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, I think it was. Yeah. And so like there's behind the scenes of that where it's looking at it, they just have a set piece and they're just reaching their hands up and using
right
like through the floor, but like the puppets are attached to the ground, to the floor there. I also feel like I need to just do a quick whatever it was called, if brain could work, a correction to what I said. Dark Crystal was the first original movie he did where he was the screenwriter. He was everything in there. Director, producer, screenwriter, actor. The Muppet movie and The Great Muppet Caper came out before this. Muppet movie 1997 and The Great Muppet Caper 1981 both came out before this, where Jim Henson was the director for Great Muppet Caper, but he was not a producer or screenwriter. In the Muppet movie, he was not a director, but he was a producer, but not a screenwriter.
So this is his first like fully written original work. Okay.
Yeah, and then Labyrinth, as we said, for next week, he is not a producer, but he is the writer. He's the director and helped write the story. Okay. So, which that comes out 4 years after this, so we get to see a little bit of an evolution of the work. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, I think I hear a lot of people say that like Labyrinth is like a very important movie to them. Yeah, so I'm excited.
I'm just surprised I'm not seeing his. Oh, maybe that's his. Maybe that's one of his sons. Anyway, there's a movie that I remember watching that is just like. It was like his first dip into CGI, or at least the Henson company, called Mirror Mask. Which when I first watched it, or like I remember was like thinking, it's like, wow, this movie's like really good. And then we went to watch it again, and it's like nothing happens for like the first half of the movie, and it's just like, wow. I don't know how I was pulled into like it was just like so much work was into the second half, which it is pretty neat. It's very much like kid gets sucked into magic, like they're almost like a little bit of feel like of Labyrinth. Okay. Which we'll get into there, but I don't know. There was some interesting parts to it, but we're not watching it, so we're not
Yeah.
talking about it.
You're really good at remembering things you liked about movies and then watching them again going, huh.
Yeah.
Like The Cell. We have to have a Twizzler suit mentioned once in a while.
Yeah. True. So, but yeah.
If I had to think of like a favorite scene, I did really like the draining of the essence. I thought that was visually really cool. I don't like what was happening. I don't like the implications of like who they were doing it to. Like there's a lot of like
the poor little podlings.
Yeah, there's a lot of like big themes in this that I read in like adult novels and go, "Oh, I'm so sad for these people." And I'm like, "This is a kids movie."
Yeah, no one care about kids. They're getting it all.
Yeah, no one says the word genocide, but that is what happened. No one said, well, they do say slaves specifically. They do say slaves. They don't say the word colonizing, but that, like there's a lot of like things. And it is just like, yeah. And I told you about like off recording and you quoted it, the part that made me laugh where it's like some of the dialogue needed just a little bit more massaging. Like, as you said in the beginning, man, do I really have to do this alone? And then he goes, well, off alone I go. And it's like, wait, you didn't even like think about what was happening.
Yeah. And it's funny because like at the first part you're sitting there watching it and you're like, did they just forget to move his mouth? Oh no, he's talking to himself, but there's no
indication that it's monologue. Yeah. Or inner thoughts.
Yeah. It is. What scene was there? Was a scene where I'm like, oh, that was not a clean mic recording of that line. Whereas, and I'm trying. It's like, it's shortly after Jen meets Kira. It's something. It's somewhere around there, and I don't remember the line, but it's just like I think they're running or something like it's. I think it's when they get on the Landstriders. And they're just going, and he's just like, "Oh my gosh!" And it's just like, "What is happening here?" That it's like, did you forget to plug the mic in?
Yeah, some of that was a little bit off. Some of the editing was a little bit off too, because I wonder if some things like just got cut in certain ways to make it feel like awkward dialogue, which is fine. It happens. I mean, to still have enough content in a fully puppeteered movie for an hour and a half is like impressive. But I know Strider said his biggest hang up was like the pacing.
Yeah.
Where it was like kind of like what you said about the other movie where you're like, "Oh, we're still just kind of like going, but there's not like I think the reason for me that the pacing feels the way it does, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, like the stakes don't feel real when everything can happen around the main character to just like fix it. Like the one scene where he's sitting there, he is like, what do I do with this crystal shard? And then it immediately works and he goes, oh, that's what I do with a crystal shard. And he has the image on it. And then I think he's with Kira and they're walking and he's like, man, I don't know what to do next. And she's like, what's on this wall? He's like, oh my God, writing. And I'm like,
yeah. It's like, I know how to write. What's writing? It's wall pictures or whatever they say.
Yeah, it's like words that stay forever. I think that's what he says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I did ask Strider this, and before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget because it's very silly, kind of in terms also of favorite scenes, would you rather, when you die, crumble into dust or turn into stars?
One seems a lot more painful.
Yeah. And I just, that was also, it was a cool scene to watch, like, all of the puppets just watching, going, as if, like, there's only 10 of you left. Oh, also in the beginning of the movie, I was like, if there's only 10 of them, who are those hooded figures at the top? And then they say the word slaves, and I go, I wish I didn't ask.
Yeah. I will say, one of those effects we will see happen again in our movies.
Oh. Yeah, but
I won't tell you when.
Okay, but then I guess flip side, do you think you would have ended up being a skepsis or a mystic?
Here's the problem. I don't think I can sit still enough to be a mystic. But at the same time, I don't think I can like
be
I
evil
know
enough?
Yeah, like I know I'm a GM and run a bunch of games where everyone thinks I'm mean-hearted and everything, but it's like I don't know. But they're all like bumbling idiots. It's like I don't understand how these stupid birds like were able to do everything. And
we're able to have so much control over the kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so because they're, but at the same time, it's like it seems like the only threat at that point are podlings, who are just like, oh, please leave me alone. I just want to make soup or something.
I know. I have my little village. Please just leave
Yeah.
us alone.
And it's just like the Gelflings, or the Gelflings, they're like this big threat, and it's just like we don't need. It's like, okay, you killed them all except for 2. You guys did a really bad job at killing them.
I know. I will say my least favorite scene was I forget what Kira called it, but like mind blending or
dream fasting.
Dream fasting. And I was kind of just like, am I watching a David Lynch movie? What's
It reminds me, so I don't know if you were ever into Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
I didn't watch Abridged.
Okay. So, and it's funny because I'm watching, because I just found out they had like, the creators have like this commentary series that they're doing. And it's pretty interesting watching, but they're like, I'm in the middle of like the Frieza series, and it's just like Goku shows up on Namek, and he's like, Krillin's trying to explain everything, and like the way they raise like Goku's like, bored now, shut up, and just like, I'm gonna read your thoughts, and just like grabs his head and just like gets there. He's like, I can do that, and they're just like, wouldn't have been able to do that. Don't worry about it. What?
This
like,
whole time?
Yeah, and it's just like and they mention it's like, this is the only time that Goku does this. Like, there's no explanation on how he can read minds. There's no explanation how he learned how to do it. He just does it, and he's just like, okay, and then never does it again. And that's what the dream fasting felt like, where it's just like, where it really feels like Henson and Oz, because I think Oz was one of the other directors or
writers,
the screenplay, or they're just like, okay, you have all this stuff, but you're not like, we don't have enough time to explain
this whole like how they got to be in their different families and why she's also alive.
So yeah,
look, it's me taking a bath, and I was like, wow, that's an ugly baby.
One of the scenes, I don't know why it cracked me up so much, but it was just like, I think this is when they're getting like chased by the what are they called? I'm trying to find them. The Gartham.
Oh, the crab bug.
Yeah. I really wish I could remember what I thought when I looked at it. I was like, oh my goodness, they're just this.
They remind me of a Pokemon, but I know that wouldn't work for you. Let me send you a picture. For any audio listeners, a Kabuto. So let me copy image. But it might just be because I have beady eyes.
I can see that, yeah. It's like before they got their bodies. Oh my goodness. This is from the RPG, the board game, and they're a lot more threatening looking.
A Dark Crystal board game, or?
Yeah, Dark Crystal board game.
Waiting for Discord. Ooh, they're a lot less soft looking.
Yeah.
But I know they're soft in the movie because puppets are interacting with puppets.
Yeah. I really wish I could. Like, I'm looking at it, and it was like, I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is, and I can't remember what. Yeah, no, there's a board game, there is a Netflix series that I think I heard middling results about. I don't know how well it is, and I think there's a TTRPG based off of it as well.
I mean, the fantasy world is built out. Would you play as a Fizzgug? If you could?
Probably. It's like, yeah, Fizzgig, or I don't know. There's a lot of neat things in there. But the thing that was cracking me up. Hold on, I think I had the quote up where it just, I'm like, oh my goodness, they just wrote this because they wrote themselves in a hole. Let me see if I can find it real quick, where I think it's like the Landstriders are dying, like they're getting thrown off the cliff, they're getting chased to the cliff, and Jen and Kira's like, oh, quick, like, Kira's like, quick, come to me. And Jen's like, what, why? And I was just like, what the, just come over here.
Oh, she flies. She
Yeah,
has wings suddenly.
Yeah, and it's just like, I thought I saw it in here because the quote cracked me up.
Why do you have wings?
Yeah.
I don't, because I'm a girl.
Like, yeah, because I'm a girl. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's like, which I'm just sitting there, I'm like, okay, does, like, because normally in these fantasy, like, settings, it's like girls can do one thing and the guys can do another. And it's like, no, the guys are just like, we're here. It's like, so, but yeah, that just cracked me up. It was just, oh, there it is. Yeah, wings. I don't have wings. Of course not. And just the way it was delivered, it's like, you're a boy. It's like,
duh.
Oh. It's like you're literally the only other person.
She's not met another one. She barely remembers her mom. So, like, yeah, for her to be like, duh, he's just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so then there's an Agara, how do you pronounce her name? Yeah, she was just like, she's like, I didn't even want to be here. I'm just here. It's like, I'm forced to be here.
They're like, oh, she's so ugly. She's not a gelfling. She's like, okay, and what are you going to do about it?
It's like, yeah, if you wanted the gelfling, you should have came and asked me. It's like, why'd you have to destroy my
laboratory?
Yeah. She's like, I don't even want to be here. It's like, okay, when we saw her lab, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just that place in Final Fantasy VII where that old man that flies around in the universe observatory thing.
It was very cool.
Oh yeah.
And then the stinking crab bugs were like, I have to punch it and I have to set everything on fire. I was like, why are they setting it on fire? That's not gonna help them.
It did crack me up where it's just like because yeah, they attack. Jen's like, oh crap,
standing there completely still.
Yeah, climbs up on the thing, jumps out of a window, and we see him like roll down the hill, and it's like, oh man, that's pretty far. And then we get a scene of how far he rolled, and I'm like, you should be dead. Like, yeah, that was a whole mountain you rolled down.
The height of the flaming laboratory, you're like, yes. Are you good? And then the other scene that like I said, he has a lot of scenes where he kind of like, I forget where the other one, where he's launched and fully ragdolled. That one made me laugh a lot. But then there's the other scene where it made me laugh because, like, not intentionally, but when he's like, it's like the penultimate scene and he's jumping on before he fixes the crystal and he just like hits his stomach on it and it falls and he's just like, oof. Yeah. And I was like, what?
It's like, wait a second.
Aren't you the hero? What is it?
I don't think he is. I think he was just...
I was kind of hoping she would end up being the prophecy, right? Like, she would end up proving that she was the prophecy, and then they just go, and stabbed. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
She dies for him.
She gets better.
Yeah. But I also really love that for the ending, they, like, I figured they were one and the same because you have them poof. Like, when one dies, the other one also poofs. But the part where they come together and just go, we were not ourselves. And Jen's like, okay. And they're like,
it's like, my bad, bro.
Sorry that we destroyed your planet. And he was like, you know, they very much had the vibe that was like, I forget what the meme is about scientists. Like, just because you could doesn't mean that you should kind of feeling. They were just like, we won't do it again. And he was like, okay.
So yeah, okie dokies.
My girlfriend is dead, and they're like, yeah, that's kind of rough.
That's rough, buddy.
But yeah, it's just like, it does just have like young adult fantasy where a lot of things are happening, but not everything. Oh, I know the other scene that made me laugh. When so there's the whole cave-in, and they're all stressed because Kira gets kidnapped. And then he finally digs his way out, and Fizzgug is like, what do we do? And he's like, I'll save her. Immediately falls in a hole. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, he didn't get very far.
Yeah. He's so useless. Feels like a lot of the characters that I end up rolling when I have to play D&D.
I also thought, I thought Fizzgug died. I fully believed it. Because they just kick him down a molten lava hole.
Yeah, I forgot about that, and I'm like, oh. Well, I guess he's gone, and then it's just like he's just there biting the crystal or like the lens, just like
The ledge. I joke.
Yeah.
Have you played Peak?
Yes.
I joked that Jen was in Peak. Because he crawls through the underground hole to the lava and he's just like in there. I was like, oh, he's in the final level of Peak.
Oh man, that one of the things that cracked me up about the hole is when they throw, yeah, I guess one of the the bird creatures. I can't pronounce their name unless I'm looking.
Skips.
When they throw them down there and he just like disappears, and then it just cracked me up where it's like the mystics just like just poof. Like just poof, and like all the mystics are like, oh.
Yeah, they're just like, as it is, and they keep walking.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, I thought it was neat, like, where they hinted right in the beginning, where it's like, at first, like, wow, that was, like, interesting of how that worked out, where it's like the two most powerful leaders died at the same time. And it's like, that's fun. And then it's like, wait a second, because then they stab one of them with the crystal shard.
Yeah.
The whiner.
Limper.
Yeah. And that's when one of the mystics like, oh, bummer. My
Man,
fifth hand.
I'm bleeding. Yeah, I also thought it was pretty funny when
sorry everyone for the I don't know if it's coming over on Hop's side, but it's just like, I don't know what is happening, but all these trains are like, oh man, let's honk our horn.
Be as loud as possible.
Yeah.
I wasn't really hearing it through Zoom, but I was going to say, I know I kind of mentioned this earlier, that I thought it was kind of silly that, again, Jen is a pretty, like, ineffectual main character. Mm-hmm. But the part especially where, like you said, the Whimperer gets his hand stabbed, and he has this whole thing. He's like, prove that we can all live in peace, and then we won't kill everybody, and yippee, happily ever after. And Kira's like, no, it's obviously a trap. And Jen's like, hold on, let's hear him out. And Kira's like, no. This is a bad idea. And like, yep. I was like, the writing's on the walls that he's just gonna bring the Gelfling and be like, look guys, I should be emperor because I did it. And then sure enough, he goes, I have Gelfling, let's make essence.
Yeah.
I also thought it was really silly that they didn't have the puppet close her eyes when she was summoning the animals. She's just sitting there staring into the lasers that are stealing her life force, and she's calling for the animals to help. And I was like, you could have had the puppet, like, close her eyes.
Nah. She had the good juju. Just, I will summon animals. She was Tarzan, pretty much. Yeah. So, in the end, I think we have like 5 minutes left, but I feel like we're just repeating ourselves now, where it's just like, in the end, there was a lot of flaws, but a lot of visually nice things. But go ahead.
Okay, so then I will ask you this. What was your favorite creature?
Fizzgug.
Out of all the creatures, Fizzgug?
I think I liked his personality a lot. I'm trying to remember. Just trying to see if there was like a list of all the like creatures in there that I could pull from. I did like I thought it was fun. The little, they were like in the very beginning when it's like time for food, and then it was just like one spilled out, and it was like a puffball that was just like just like ran around, and everyone's like, ah!
Oh, the crawlies, the desserts. Yeah, those were fun. Those were fun. I really liked the there's a very short scene before Jen meets Kira, and they're just going through a landscape that's like swampy. And I was like, oh, yeah, I like the giant toad that was just sitting there, and something landed on him, and he just goes, whoop. And then he just goes back to sleep. I like that. I also, there were, like, these little things that look like darts that flew off at one point, I think in that same area. They were just, like, these little thin, like, they almost look paper-like. Those were fun. I thought it was really fascinating that the only things that could beat up the crab monsters were the Landstriders. I was
Yeah.
like, they don't look very threatening. And then they were like cutting their like helmets in half. I was like, oh, good for
Yeah.
them. They were kind of scraggly, but I was imagining having to be the man puppeteering it because you have stilts on your hands and feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sucks. That's too much core strength.
Yeah. And they're just like
Yeah.
just like
Trying to kick things with both things at the same time. I thought it was very interesting that, like, I know she's raised in nature, but every time she would do something, Jen's like, what are you doing? She's like, calling animals. He's like, okay. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, what are you saying? She's like, I'm calling animals. He's like, oh, cool.
it's like in case you forgot.
This is kind of my shtick.
Yep. So, but yeah, it was Fizzgug was definitely fun, or Fizzgig, whatever his name was. But yeah, but it's just like I did like the crawlies, and then I'm trying to remember, like there was whatever the swamp creature was that lifted Jen out of the muck.
Like the big bug thing that they also eat.
Yeah.
Because the Skepsies had, like, roasted one or whatever, too.
Mm-hmm. So there's just like a lot of neat things.
A lot of creatures.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just like I don't know. This is a time where I think I appreciate a lot of movies that aren't just like you can tell, hey, we shot this in front of a green screen or a blue screen. Like
There were some green screen moments.
There were some.
I was like, oh, that's
like,
a jump scare.
excuse me. There were some, but it's like it wasn't to the point where it's like. So like I saw a picture of the Parasite house. The whole second floor is CGI.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's
Wow.
like to that like I don't have a problem with that.
I would have never guessed, though.
At least I thought I thought I saw it somewhere. I don't know if it was on Wikipedia. I'll see if I can find it real quick. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, man, it's yep. Here we go. Let's send this to you.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to hear a little bit of trivia?
Yeah.
I see that apparently the movie had a different name to it. Oh, wow, that is all CGI. Fascinating. And they just painted it like all blue stuff. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. But yeah, so it says in pre-production, Brian Froud's designs, he didn't have a finished script. And he presented Henson with concept drawings for the crystal, and Henson was confused because Henson said that one of his early things he was going to call the movie was The Dark Chrysalis.
Oh.
And Froud had drawn crystals, and Henson was like, I mean, the concept art is cool. We'll make it happen. Timer time.
Yep. It's so loud that it cracks me up that you can't hear it, but every time I'm like, oh, because I don't know how to make it not. So, that's pretty neat. Oh, that's interesting. So, Jim Henson personally trimmed 20 minutes from this movie after disastrous preview in San Francisco. He also ordered many of the characters' voices to be redubbed to eliminate some of the invented character languages. Oh, there was character oh man, that's a bummer. Making the movie which makes sense, more accessible and the plot easier to follow. But it's like, what was in those 20 minutes? So, yeah. So, I'm just like scrolling through to see if there's anything else in here.
Brian Froud's fascination with lobsters led to many crustacean touches in the designs of this movie, particularly in the design of the Gartham. I could see a lot of like lobster and like sea creature-y kind of inspirations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it says the Gartham costumes were so heavy that the performers had to be hung up on a rack every 5 minutes to rest while still in costume.
That's a bummer. Just like time to relax. Not everyone could be Agra, how you pronounce her name, where it's just like she's every scene she's in, she's like, why am I here? I'm gonna sit down.
I know, she's like, oh, my knees.
Let's see. That's interesting. This was the 16th highest grossing movie in North America in 1982.
It is like the first. Yeah. It does have like the fascinating thing of being, I think someone listed it as being the only, at the time, live action movie with no human characters in it.
Yeah. I just also saw the Skelskis were originally going to be fish creatures.
Interesting. Again, lobsters.
Yeah. So, I guess one last question I would ask. Watching this movie, would you be interested at all in checking out the Netflix TV series?
Depends how you want to squeeze it into the schedule.
No. Not like that. No, it was just
not
like
a mini pod or anything like
no,
that.
No, not a mini pod. It was more just like watching pretty much the creation of this world. Would you like? Is there like not a desire, but it's just like I'm curious, like because apparently that is a prequel.
I think I'd be more interested in like the RPG in the world more than I would on a prequel. Because I'm okay with the amount of knowledge that's shared in this movie. It's like that perfect amount of like, I just accept that these are the circumstances. I mean, we have watched prequels for the podcast, and we did not like what it did to the universe. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at you, alien.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I enjoy. Let's see. I'm going to type in game. Oh, there's a couple. Yeah, and then there's a video game. I know there's a video game, which it looks like it's based off of the Netflix series. I thought there was... Let's see, if I type in TTRPG. Yeah, River Horse. They also make a Labyrinth game.
Okay.
It's sold out.
Gasp.
But I like the art on there. Yeah, so I always love these descriptions. This is the Dark Crystal adventure game. Within these pages, you'll find everything you need to create Gelfling characters with your friends, the adventure in the amazing world of Thra. I think I do like that, where it's just like, no, you're Gelflings.
Yeah, you get to kind of build out, how you adventure in this. Versus, like, I think it's just because the prequel is so much later. It's, 2019? And I think it's done by the child of Froud. It's one of those, like, I think I'd feel differently if the prequel was done by the original writers. Not to say that he would do a bad job with the prequel, but it's like, if they didn't do a prequel, maybe they were happy with how the movie is, as it is.
Yeah. So, I just realized how blue I am.
Oh, and River Horse also has a Pacific Rim board game for you.
I did see that. I clicked on it. They have that. I know they also have a Labyrinth game, or at least I think it's a board game. Oh, they have a Jim Henson collection right here of Labyrinth, the board game. Oh, there's a Dark Crystal board game. Oh, Goblins, which is from Labyrinth. Oh, this is also from Labyrinth.
Oh, expansions for Labyrinth.
Yeah. Which I know this is something, like, I heard about this game, and I was kind of interested in it, but I'm like, I want to make sure I get it. Oh, yeah, they have their own TTRPG, which is probably also, yeah, it's sold out. I hate when they make these physical copies of things and sell it out, and it's like, is there a PDF somewhere?
Would be nice. I see that they've gotten licensing for everything. I see puzzles. I see.
Yeah. I've only seen it on eBay. Oh wait, there's this. Oh, you can get it at the Jim Henson shop for
fun.
$45,
Hardcover book.
which I don't want a hardcover book. But anyway, that's for next week. As
Puppets, yippee!
as we continue our adventure of the thingies that my brain is dying, as we go into Labyrinth, which I don't know, it's interesting. There's something I'm like, ever since we started this series, there is something I've been trying to keep track of, and it's going to finally, after a year, come to fruition, and I just hope I remember it this time. So we'll
Look, just
see.
next week, make sure to have read the whole book about the behind the scenes of Henson, so you can give us a full book report.
No, it isn't so much like, I'm really happy we're watching and talking about these things, but it's something a little bit different. So it should, so hopefully I should remember it. So, but anyway, thank you everyone so much for watching and or listening. If you have your own thoughts about Dark Crystal, or any fun facts that you saw, or whatever, or what kind of creature you want to take home and, I don't know, brainwash, let us
Steal
know.
the essence of.
Yeah. Like, what flavor do you think the essence was? Pina colada? Anyway, thank you everyone, and until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.